Welcome to our new segment called The Weekly Haul. We've decided that every Friday we're going to be launching a video on recapping the entire week of what happened in the news in one video for you guys out there. So we're going to call it The Weekly Haul. And we're going to try to do it all under 5 minutes, okay? So let's get to it. This week, very strong pressure on freight fraud, okay? So there's a ton of freight fraud happening right now, especially going into the winter months. Business starts getting slow, and it's been slow for quite some time, for the last 18 months. There's a big push on freight fraud, okay? The freight fraud right now is a multi-billion-dollar concern with scammers targeting vulnerabilities in logistics systems. So a lot of fraud that I've seen around is people pretending to be carriers. They know people's MC numbers, they have the carrier profiles, they're booking loads, pretending like they're somebody else. Somebody could be opening up an ET Transport email address at gmail.com, at hotmail.com, or ettransport145 at hotmail.com. These fraudsters are pretending to be carriers and booking loads and rerouting confirmations, and a lot of freight is getting stolen. That's just one thing that's happening. There's a ton happening right now with MC numbers, with DOT numbers. They have a lot of data right now on bigger trucking companies. They have a ton of data right now. If we can collaborate and put all this under one system that everybody uses, we're definitely going to eliminate freight fraud. So the first one to the finish line is definitely going to benefit from it. There's a big push right now in order to crack down on freight fraud. Next, I think we all know that Trump won the elections, and this is already starting to have an impact in our industry. There's a lot of movement when it comes to freight. So one of the things that he promised was drill baby drill and revive the economy. I already see it. He's not even in office, but I already see that freight rates are starting to spike a little bit. It's definitely giving people a breath of fresh air. I think everybody in the trucking industry was waiting for Trump to come in. I actually did a poll on the positive or negative effects of Trump coming into power. And 87% of, I think, 2,500 people said that Trump is going to have a positive effect on the industry. So we're still waiting for him to come in January, but I think he's going to revive our industry and definitely lower fuel costs. We carriers definitely benefit from it, and we already feel it. So there's a small difference right now. I think the national average was at around $4.50 a gallon this time last year. Today it's about $3.50 a gallon, and we're already feeling just a little bit breath of fresh air. Finally, we can see those expenses are coming down on fuel. There was unfortunately a fatal crash. A family is suing a driver in a trucking company for complete and utter disregard of hours of service rules. There is a lawsuit alleging that a truck driver lost control of his semi-truck and veered across the median in oncoming traffic, hitting 2 cars and killing 3 people. Whoever you're getting into an accident, they're not only going to drag the company into the lawsuit, they're going to drag the driver, they're going to drag the freight broker, sometimes they even drag the shipper and the receiver. They drag everybody in the lawsuit. I must say that trucking just doesn't pay enough to put up with these things, okay? So do not falsify your logbooks, because you never know. I mean, obviously, these are all stories that we hear about in the news, but if God forbid that happens to you, you're going to get dragged into a lawsuit also if you violate your hours of service. Extremely important. Now, CVSA Blitz discovered violations on 14% of truck drivers hauling hazmat. So there was a Blitz focusing on hazmat loads. Okay, the CVSA inspectors examined 3,929 vehicles hauling hazardous materials, dangerous goods in Canada and the US, discovering violations in 14% of them. The key findings, okay, violations: 576 vehicles were cited for dangerous good violations, including 116 out of services, loading and securement violations. Wow, okay. Training and declaration. Canada had 79 training certificate violations, while the US identified 93 undeclared packages. What else happened in the news this week? McKevitt closes down. A Canadian trucking company, after 76 years, has closed down its operations in the last week. They had 5 terminals, I believe, one in Thunder Bay, Sault Ste. Marie, Timmins, Sudbury, North Bay, and Mississauga. Actually, six locations they had. Their safety record was at the industry standard. I believe that the owner has just wound down operations and are no longer in service. For those of you that are interested in a little bit more information about that closure, I've done a whole separate video on it. Now, this is your Friday news update. If you're enjoying these videos, make sure you're subscribed to this channel. I'll keep you posted every Friday with the latest news in trucking. I'm Ronan, and I'll catch you in my next one.